Speaking of all-stars, we have Coach of the Year last year, and also, I think, Player MVP, or he should have been. If he didn't get it, gosh darn it, he should have. Both from Atlanta FaZe, my man Crowder and Preston Priesta. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Gentlemen from FaZe Atlanta. What is going on, Crowder? What's going on, Preston? You fucking tank. Can I tell you how impressed I am by your gameplay? Not that last year, both of you, under 100 Thieves, that wasn't impressive enough. But this year, for you to carry on what you were bringing last year, the fire that you have, look, I commend you, young man. I commend you.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Just been grinding my ass off, man. Just going crazy.
Yeah, well, listen, I also have to give you props. Crowder, obviously, you've been streaming every single day, every morning, and dude, grinds like that are hard to do. So, obviously you're doing well, but I know that it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you both for stopping by on the episode of the Eavesdrop podcast. Hopefully one day or another we're going to have an individual podcast with both of you, right? One with Crowder, one with Priest at some point. I'd like to have you guys on for a complete hour instead of the short amount of time that I have you guys today.
Yeah, I would love that. Absolutely love that.
You down?
One of my favorites.
Oh, hell yeah. Look,
I'm always around, man.
I'm booking talent left and right. It's just, I'm working, baby. You know what I'm saying? Guys, how has this year impacted your day-to-day life? Obviously, you both had to move from L.A., am I right, to Atlanta?
I was in Colorado.
Yeah. Wait, you said Colorado, right? Yeah, I was LA. You were Colorado,
yeah.
Cool. Obviously, you guys have been around for the longest time, right? We've seen a lot of iterations of Call of Duty going into this year. Like, and I'm talking, put the pandemic aside, put everything that the online competition aside. From a team perspective, from a franchise perspective, how are you guys enjoying the switchover?
You want to go first, Preston?
I mean, it's been good. I mean, it's kind of the same thing as last year for me. I just been kind of just putting in a lot of work and just grinding, trying to, stay at the top and keep winning events consistently. Just like, if I won events last year and I came into this year and just didn't win, then like people would, wouldn't think I'm that good. So I just kind of wanted to show everyone that I could do it again. And that's kind of just what I've been working on, just kind of just staying on the top, really.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I mean, obviously last year I had the big switch up from being a pro player and obviously not qualifying and then going to coaching. But even like coaching last year to this year, I feel with like how this franchise league has gone, it's just there's so much competition like with all these teams and just like being able to prepare through the year and like I don't know, I feel like it feels so legit right now, like having like the long season of like your ups and downs. Like my team, every team has gone through them, and coaching that is like my favorite part of coaching, like getting through those tough times and like having the players like stick through it and talk it out, and like those really long annoying calls that Preston knows about where like things just aren't going your way. Like that's the best part about this, is figuring out those problems and then obviously overcoming that and like getting to the top of where you can get to.
That's it. It's insane to me how quickly you were able to pivot to being a coach and putting the coach's hat on, and the delivery of your work that showed through 2 championships with 100 Thieves. Am I correct? Was it 2 or 1? Yeah. 2 with 100 Thieves, being ranked number 1 throughout the entire season, being the team to beat the entire season of the new CDL. That's got to do something to the ego, no? That's got to give you a little bit of props on your own. Like, damn, I am that dude.
I mean, not really, just because I've had a lot of talented players I've coached, man. Like, I've been super grateful of every player that I've worked with throughout like the 2 years of me coaching now have been super, super easy to work with. And on top of that, obviously just helping them out. I've definitely noticed that some of the players that I've been playing are some of the best players in the world. So, I mean, a lot of that goes to them, not me.
Nah, he knows he's a good coach. He just doesn't want to say it.
Yeah,
he's just mellow,
He's a humble dude, just like me.
Yeah,
we hate talking about ourselves. Preston, obviously going into this weekend, you guys are obviously seeded number 1. Obviously, you guys have one match on Saturday, which is against Empire, and hopefully you guys advance. Do you guys see any fear, or do you guys see any downside to the fact that you guys are going to be sitting around waiting, one, to see what happens with Huntsman and London, and then after that, the winner of that plays whoever lost between that? Do you see, from the format perspective, is that something that you guys pay a lot of attention to?
Yeah, it's been weird, the format changing. Like, we played one match, and then we have to wait a week to play again. So it's a little bit weird. Like, we're going into this week like making sure we're just trying to grind as much as we can, get as, like the best practice we possibly can. But it's tough because a lot of pro teams aren't scrimming anymore. So like we had to scrim amateur teams or like shoot bots or whatever we had to do. So yeah, it's definitely interesting, and we got to sit back and like kind of see how it plays out. And I mean, Dallas is a tough team, so we know like we've been playing them all year, and they're really good. So we're gonna go in and just kind of just game plan as best as we can, and just try to come out with the win. Really.
If you would have asked me at the beginning of the season who the top four were going to be or the final four were going to be, it would have been this group. I had London as one of the favorites very early on. I'm obviously never going to bet against myself, so I knew that we were going to be there. And then you and obviously Empire. From a young talent perspective on the Empire side, and then having the two vets, Crowder, what do you think of the chemistry that they brought together? Because at first, I'll be honest, I didn't think that Clay and Krim were going to be able to click, right? Because from a leadership standpoint, you can't have that many cooks in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be one chef.
Yeah. I mean, their team when they first formed, I actually love their team because that's just something I've always been a big fan of, is bringing in that young talent. And Kyler or Hugh has been one of the stellar talents through our CWL, everything, and he's just such a good player. And then bringing along Shotzi, I mean, no one really knew how he was going to play, and he got a lot of flack in the beginning of the season where obviously he wasn't doing that good and he was struggling, but I think everyone kind of knew once he figured out like what he's got to do and like how he kind of can control or master this game, he was going to be good. You cannot be so talented at 1 FPS and just not be able to transfer a little bit of that over, and he did it more than that. I mean, he got the MVP this year, and he's such a talented player, and having those guys be able to mold them, their team is just incredible. And that's something that I was kind of skeptical on too, is like the not like having Clay and Krim, but I think they figured out a good balance. I've teamed with Clay. I've never teamed with Krim, but I've known Krim now for years, and I've kind of seen him on stream of how he leads his teams. They're like a different sort of leadership, and I think it kind of works out pretty well for them. Like Krim is a very, very he's like the hard ass, he makes sure everyone's doing their thing in scrims and not goofing off. And then Clay's like the more like gassing your teammates. And I think I just saw a clip on Twitter or something of Tyler's two-piece, and like he was like every single player on his team he was hyping up and stuff. And like that's a leadership that you need like in those big moments and those big those big plays that he's like perfect for. So I think they kind of mesh really, really, really well with like the young talent that they got. And then like to speak on Illy too, Illy's someone that even if he struggled this year in Respawn, he's so good at search and destroy, and search and destroy is just so overlooked. Till this day, I still think it really is. And even if he did struggle, which he really didn't this year, he was going to be so important to that team regardless. And I don't know. They have like the complete team. They're really good.
I agree. Preston, I'm going to ask you this question about the coach because obviously he's going to want to, say that he would like to be the. But here's a question. In other esports, the coaches are sometimes allowed to speak, right? They are there. Do you think that we should set the tone going into next year, allowing a fifth or sixth microphone to be in the game? Do you think that will offer something? Would it be beneficial to players to have? Let's talk about your particular scenario. Would it be beneficial to you guys to have Crowder walking back and forth, just giving out shout outs, giving out call outs, and having that extra pair? Or would that just make it too chaotic for you guys to be able to do your job?
I mean, I feel like it would benefit us, like, if we just found the right balance, right? So, like, in Hardpoint or, like, Respawn, if we were getting, like, too hectic or something, Crowder could come in and be like, hey, calm down the comms a little bit. Or, like, hey, like, start rotating, stuff like that. Just, like, minor, like, comments in the middle of the game. I'm sure it would help us. Same with S&D. Like, if he notices they're doing something that we're not noticing, I'm sure he could help, like, in-game. So, I mean, that would definitely be interesting. I think, depending on how the coaches go about it, it could probably hurt teams, too. But I definitely think with this team and Crowder as a coach, it'd probably help us.
Crowder?
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because obviously I'm the coach, and man, the amount of series that I've watched them play where I just want to jump into team speak and just be like, no, like do not do that, please, like stop doing this, like, or adjust to what they're doing. I think I could help out a lot. But at the same time, I feel that takes away from a lot of the leadership that like some of players like Clay, Krim, and so many other players in this league really have. Like that's a skill set that not everyone can carry, and I think it's super, super overlooked and undervalued sometimes. Like obviously Krim and Clay, they get a lot of credit, but they're also very successful. But those players really do matter in teams sometimes, especially depending on like the coaching staffs and stuff. So like I don't know. Like, I would love to be on that stage selfishly. I would absolutely love it. And yeah, when there's hectic comms or rotating at the right time or telling them to adjust, and there's so much I could do, but I feel like that would be taking away the importance of how sometimes that leadership really does go such a long way in those big moments, especially on a stage as big as champs that we're playing right now with all the money on the line. So I'm torn. I'm like 50-50. I think I would almost like not want to be there, but selfishly, I would love to be there. I don't know. I'm definitely torn.
I always wondered that from a coach's perspective, from a player's perspective, on whether or not that would be a thing. And I don't know. I think it would offer another level of to the meta, essentially, right? Of what competitive is and who has, and then now you have, as an organization, now you have to concentrate on really making sure that you have like a top tier coach that's going to be able to, one, analyze, two, and then the coaching staff, like what does that look like? So I mean, yeah, it adds like a massive element to the thing, but I do think that from a professional standpoint, I think that it would add another element that is utilized right now currently, obviously, in all traditional sports. And trust me, I'm a big fan of saying, like, let's follow the sports model but reinvent it and apply it to our current day and age, and not do it exactly like they're doing it. But I do think that there's a place in a time where we should be able to do something like that.